Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the VoCoVo first ever webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about a number of different retail challenges and how we as VoCoVo are helping people to overcome. I'm really pleased with, and thank you to everybody who's attending today. There'll be plenty of chances. If you want to pop any questions that you have into the chat box or the Q&A, we will allow for some time at the end for Q&A. It will be lots of different topics that we're going to cover off. So I'm really excited to get started. First of all, we'll do some introductions. So my name's Tom Thurlow. I'm the Global Sales Director for VoCoVo. I'm responsible for our channel and distribution business and our direct sales and our account management teams and our technical teams based here in the UK, our colleagues over in the DACH region, and also our colleagues who are based in the US in Chicago, Illinois. So I'm going to pass over. Liv, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. So yeah, I'm Olivia. I head up our sales team at VoCoVo. Been with the company for now over 5 years, which means I've had the luxury of seeing and working with so many lovely retailers and getting our kit into so many stores worldwide. But yeah, really looking forward to going through this webinar with you, Tom.
Great. A good place for us to start, Liv. I think, seeing as though you've been with us for such a long time, why don't you kick off by telling everybody who doesn't know who we are, exactly who we are and what we do here at VoCoVo?
Yeah, sure. So for those of you who don't know VoCoVo, we are the retail expert that put people first. So we do this by supplying communication tools and connecting stores, retail stores. You'll see in the bottom right of this slide some lovely logos of some of the great customers we work with, which is just a small proportion. What I've done is on the next slide, you'll see a bit of an overview of our system. So I'm not going to go through this in too much detail because we are going to pick and pull things as we go through this webinar. But just at a very high level overview, you'll see on the left-hand side is what you could see in retail stores today. So we've got our Series 5 headset, we've got customer call points throughout stores, and we've got checkout keypads. Everything you see to the right of that is what's possible on top of that with the VoCoVo system. So things such as telephony integration, speed dial from stores, the ability to pull reports and send messages to colleagues at the push of a button, and some of the API integrations that we can do with anything that can have a voice in store. So very high level, but hopefully that just gives you a bit of an overview or a reminder of who VoCoVo are and what we do.
I think there's lots of people on the calls right now who recognise those features. Liv, thank you so much for that. So we're going to get into the real sort of the high points of what it is that we do. So on a consistent basis here at VoCoVo, we are talking to our customers all the time, trying to learn how we improve, how we get better, what's going on in industry. And a big way that we do that is to consistently show our strongest hand at all the big events across the world globally. Most recently, that's NRF 24, Retail's big show. And there's some key things that I personally picked up, and I'm sure for those of you who are at the show, you will have seen a lot of these points. Now, some of them have been repeated for a number of years, and some of these are core, definite industry needs and pain points that we try to address on a regular basis. So the first thing that I thought that I saw personally and found really sort of resonates with me and resonates with all of retail is how putting shoppers at the center of our thought process, offering memorable customer experiences that allows customers to shop in the way that they want and become more interactive, do really interesting things when they're in stores, and how that changes from our very early beginnings right through to now. We've seen huge changes in retail, how we combat retail shrink. So shrinkage is not, we're never going to get rid of shrinkage, unfortunately. Oh, well, we're going to do our best to, but it's about how we recognize that this is an industry-wide problem and innovative solutions really need to be at the core of how we fight back at this. And finally, as I kind of touched on a little bit before, how AI is everywhere. we walking through the show this year, and I think this will be a repeat performance to the rest of the trade shows we do throughout the year. AI is such a hot topic within retail at this moment in time. How can we use AI and utilize AI to give frontline associates and retail stores that cutting edge, you know, a real good customer service through AI? So I think what we need to recognize is that there's some real challenges ahead here in 2024 for retail. We recognize that, and we recognize that there's a need for our customers to see that we recognize that, and we're doing our bit here at VoCoVo to try and help you to combat these challenges. So some of these challenges that we're going to highlight today is the increase in competition and threats from retail crime. So again, it's something that we would love to eradicate and not see within our retail world, but unfortunately, that's just not the case at the moment. In fact, it's increasing, and that's really concerning. So how can we here at VoCoVo help you to battle that and combat that and recognize that, and work with lots of your partners to help you try your best to deter crime within stores? Doing more with less and maintaining workforce. One of the key topics that I picked up at, not just at NRF, but also at the Retail Store Operations Council, which we take part in at all events. Now, retaining staff is so hard. You know, there's so many opportunities within retail. Finding the right members to this, finding the right associates and the right members of your team is really difficult. So once we onboard people, retaining that staff and retaining that skill and retaining that individual is vital to what we do here in retail. And then changing customer needs and loyalty. Now, we all know that the choice for our customers is so vast, whether that's online or with our competitors. So how do we give ourselves that cutting edge? How do we help our customers remain loyal to us? Let's take another deeper look into that. So let's make sense of the challenges. What can we do, and how can we give ourselves this cutting advantage? Number one, we'll look at improving operational excellence. Secondly, we'll look at maximizing in-store labor efficiency. And number three, we're going to look at enhancing customer experience. These are three really hot topics. And what we're going to do is break these down into individual segments. So first and foremost, how do we achieve operational excellence? Number one, we improve productivity. Number two, we reduce shrinkage. And number three, we have seamless connectivity. Now, these things are really easy things to say, but what we do here at VoCoVo, and we're very proud of the fact that we do this, is we have stats and recommendations and customers who see the benefit of this. I think what we should do at this point, maybe, Liv, is to kind of do a bit of a deep dive into these three individual areas. So if you want to kick us off with improved productivity, I think that'd be a great place for us to start.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'll do is take you through how, as Tom said, how we combat this and we help retailers, you know, work with these and move forward. So the first one, improving productivity. So you can see a headline here of save over 105 minutes every day. I suppose the core of the VoCoVo solution, headset solution, is once you've got a headset on, your colleague, your in-store colleague, is immediately more productive. Not only do they stop having to walk to find their manager or a product, but everything is at the push of a button. And so naturally, you will find that efficiency of tasks and efficiency of steps massively increases as soon as you go live with VoCoVo. The next one Tom touched on was reducing shrink. Now, this is something that really is growing in the retail industry in an unfortunate way. So we do all we can to support retailers with this, and it's different for every retailer. But essentially, by connecting your colleagues and your headsets to your CCTV cameras, it could be to your security teams, connecting them to another level of support massively helps reduce shrink. If you have maybe a smart CCTV camera installed that can trigger unusual activity, that could trigger a notification to a colleague to alert them to that area or to a security guard. There's a lovely stat on the bottom here that we've so far saved a leading UK retailer over £21,000 per store per year just by reducing shrinkage. The other side to shrinkage is obviously the safety of the colleague, which I'm going to come on to a little bit later. The last point under operational excellence is the seamless connectivity, again, which is a really statement line for us at VoCoVo. Everything we do seamlessly. And what this one relates to is the ability to send important updates and reminders to your store colleagues, which is connecting your head office to your store. Some examples of this could be scheduling or sending live messages to a single group or full estate of stores. Those messages range from anything to reminders to close the fridge blinds at the end of the day. It could be rumbles to pull stock forward. It could be a security alert, a company update, a regional update, or even a Christmas message from your CEO. By doing this, you're able to connect with the colleague instantly, even if you're not in store with a headset on. And that's some of the ways that we have combated operational excellence at VoCoVo with our current customers, and is something that is absolutely still front running of the issues that we're looking to overcome with them.
Great points, Liv. I think it's really vital, is connecting and maximizing efficiency. It's so good to see lots of the retailers that we speak to pick up on these points to us. The next thing that I think I want to kind of dig down in is the pain point of how to maximize labor efficiency and well-being. I think it's great that we talk about how we can improve stats and save money for clients, but the overall really important piece is that we look after our staff. We make sure that they feel safe, that they are enabled and trained to a level that they can do their roles to the highest of their ability. That, again, safety being so vital, so critical, that when they walk into work every day, they feel as though they are safe and they are connected to a team that will look after them and make sure that they feel valued. And then thirdly, the performance piece, right? How do we ensure that we look at people and give them every single tool that they need to be at their top performance throughout their days, to give 100%? And I'd love to do a bit more of a deep dive into this, Liv, if you wouldn't mind kind of taking us through that.
Absolutely. So labor efficiency and well-being is actually something I'm much more passionate about, because ultimately, with a more engaged and connected store, you will find that things just move more naturally. Colleagues want to be there, they want to work, they want to make things better. And some of the ways you can encourage that in store, or the first one, in fact, is training. So reducing training time by up to 2 days. Now, when colleagues come on board, so much of their time is spent onboarding, watching videos in front of a screen. But if they pop a headset on and every answer to their question is at the push of a button, they're immediately experts. But not only that, the well-being side to that, no longer are they stuck there thinking, oh, I need help, I don't know the answer to this. You're immediately making them empowered and an expert, as I've said. The next one is safety, which I responded to earlier. This is the other side of the theft and the safety side of stores. So a connected team is a protected team. So if you're wearing a headset, you're immediately in a group. You're not alone. Especially in convenience retail, it can be a really lonely world. So knowing that someone is only a push button away can be so empowering and make them feel so much safer and more supported. I've seen examples with some of our customers where in the smaller stores, they've got someone on the shop floor while someone's in the cash office. Immediately you're connecting two colleagues that are not together and they feel so much safer. The other side to this is wearing the headset itself acts as a deterrent. So you can imagine if someone does come into store, they don't know where that headset is connected to. And again, that's just another level of empowering your store colleague, making them feel safer and deterring that theft and security issue. The last point is performance, which is probably a topical one, but this is where you do more with less without compromise. So we know the retail world can be quite volatile and often staffing fluxes up and down, but you're still expected to deliver that excellent level of customer experience with less hours. And that's where we can help. So one point I'm going to come on to a little bit later is utilising our call points. So being able to remove hours and reallocate them elsewhere, and being able to give that level of customer service to the customer always without having to have someone stood there all hours of the day. But I'm going to come back to that one in the next section.
I think brilliant point again, brilliant point. And I think it's how we're addressing this, not just hypothetically, but these are having real world impacts to our customer base, to retailers that really see the benefit of all these parts. You know, the most advanced retailers that take us on board, that make these technological changes, that embrace these things, get an absolute maximum sort of benefit from utilizing them. And the feedback is always very, very positive, right? I think that's really, really key. I think, you know, the final big point that we want to push onto is, how do we ensure excellent customer experience? So I think it's great that we've covered off how to, you know, work with our staff, retain them, ensure that they're connected, make sure that we feel as though we are looking after our really valuable assets and ensure that they are working to maximum efficiencies. What I think it'd be great to look at now, Liv, is, you know, how do we offer this, or how do we ensure this excellent customer experience? You know, and the three things that I like to pick up on whenever I'm speaking to people or challenge people on is speed, knowledge, and staff availability. Three really key areas to how we improve customers and clients and retailers' experience here at VoCoVo. So, Liv, would you like to do a bit of a deep dive into these three areas and sort of cover these off?
Yeah, I think just to kind of kickstart this, my personal opinion and what I've seen in the retail world over the last couple of years, year especially, is that post-COVID shift in retail. And I hate to bring up the word COVID because it was 4 years ago now, but you know, that taught a lot of people how to shop more efficiently and how to do things online. And that had an impact on retail. And I think what we've seen more so lately is when people do venture out to retail and do come to that store, they're looking for that overall experience, that end-to-end experience, whether that's a quick shop, I'm just going to pick up a parcel and get out the house, or whether that's an assisted sell, a consultative sell. And so we've really focused on this with our customers over the last year or so. And the first one is speed. So I referenced there a quick sell, and a lot of customers are here for that. Click and collect is thriving, and it's making that as efficient as possible. The image here shows you one of our customer call points, which are located at locations throughout the store where customers typically need colleague assistance. It could be a click and collect desk, could be a fitting room, it could be a car park. Possibilities are endless. But essentially what this does, it gives you the ability to remove or reallocate your hours from a desk, say. So if we take click and collect as an example, I can have a call point there that's available for my customers all the time. So they don't need to look for a colleague. They press the button, they're connected to a headset colleague, and that in-store colleague can then resolve their problem. So whether that's what's your last name and the last 3 digits of your number, already that transforms the time taken to complete that order. But what it means is the customer isn't spending time looking for that person, and it's making that whole piece easier and quicker for them. The next one is around knowledge, and I touched on this with the training side of things, but now more than ever, again, post-COVID, people have become experts. You know, the information is online, people know how to find it. And a lot of the time when they're coming into stores for that assisted sale or that bigger purchase, whatever it might be, they're looking for expert knowledge. And it's really hard to get that to all of your colleagues. You know, the time that you'd have to work in a retail store or the time taken with that company, it takes time to learn these things and become that expert. But with a headset on, the answer is always at the end of a button. So if I'm asked a difficult question, whether I'm on day 1 or year 5, I've always got the answer and I'm always connected to someone that can help me. The last one on this is availability, and I've related this specifically to telephony. So being able to answer incoming calls in less than a minute. Now, it is a lot harder to ignore a ringing in your ear as opposed to a ringing on your belt. Much harder to ignore. So we do find that when we implement telephony with our customers, the uptake in calls answered is phenomenal. And a lot of retailers do attribute a cost to a call, right? So again, we're proving that use case for them and helping them build out that work stream. There's some stats on here of when stores miss a call, 85% of customers won't call back. And we know a lot of the time when someone's calling a store, they're calling with a very specific question, be that stock, be that advice, be that opening and closing times. It's a question they need to speak to someone for. What VoCoVo allows is I can answer that colleague and still be hands-free. I can still work in the shop. I can continue what I'm doing. I haven't ignored the customer. Everyone who's got a headset has the ability to answer that call if that's the model that you use in store. But on the other side of this, it's being able to utilize this availability and ease to be able to dial out of store. So making it easy for colleagues to, with the push of 2 buttons, dial their maintenance or IT help desk. They could dial their regional manager, for example. We're making people available all the time that we can. And I come back to my point that I think I've said quite a few times is at the push of a button, which really is where we excel and where we push our customers. So yeah, hopefully that's helped on that one, Tom. But definitely a leading point in retail right now.
Yeah, I think what you raised there, Liv, is a really good point, and that is the at the push of a button piece, and it's something that a lot of our clients, when we speak to them and they feed back into the business, the simplicity of our system, the ease of use, the ability for a college leaver through to a retiree part-time worker to be able to pick up one of our systems or one of our headsets, put it on and feel connected to a number of different colleagues and a number of different, all of a sudden you've got an entrant to expert at the pushing of a button. And that is some really powerful tool that we know that the majority of our customers, in fact, all of our customers feedback to us that is a really powerful thing. The simplicity of the VoCoVo system, that to enable people to be connected across, whether that's, like you say, colleague to colleague, customer to colleague, or even head office corporate level to colleague. I think it's a nice feature and one of our key sort of selling points. So
across, Tom, but I think the theme there is we empower colleagues and make their job as easy as and connected as possible, which I think you've just covered there as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So with that in mind, I think it's important that we kind of cover off what does 2024 look like for us and with VoCoVo. So I think it's important that we realize that, customers do have more choice, and ensuring that loyalty of customers coming into retail is something that we take really seriously. So we want to help retailers sort of ensure that they're offering the best customer experience possible to keep people returning back time after time after time. Just as staff are very hard to retain, retaining customer loyalty is even harder. The idea that we can help retailers to do more with less, recruitment is going to be difficult throughout 2024. Retaining staff is going to be very hard. So how we enable our teams to have the best tech at the touch of a button at the side with experts there available to them is really important. And then how we can help meet targets with increasing challenges. We want to support retailers through continued challenges of high costs and uncertainty by empowering their teams with technology. These points are vital key pain points that we know are being experienced. We are told by retailers that they're being experienced. So we are hopeful that all of our customer base and any new customers that we speak to, or anybody within retail who wants our help to give them a step up and a leading edge advantage within their stores, comes and has a conversation with us. So with that in mind, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody for coming along today. I know we're a bit ahead of schedule, but yeah, if anybody's got any questions, we do have a couple that are in the Q&A box. So what I'll do is I'll pitch them to you, Liv, as I've done a lot of talking there, if that's okay with you. So we have a question here that says, how much of an investment would a retailer have to make into the VoCoVo solution?
That's a good question. What I would say is VoCoVo is an investment, as is any in-store communication tool. But the payback and the efficiencies and the benefits that you get from it are, I mean, we usually see ROI within 12 months, if not sooner. So what we do with retailers is we work with them and we help prove the business case, where required, and show how our solution is not just for now, but for the future. I think coupled with that, on the investment side of things, we're massively focusing on our sustainability, as we know our customers are. So we're making that conscious effort to really listen to what they're doing and making sure that we are doing the same. We've recently launched an initiative where when a customer places an order, we'll plant a tree for every headset purchased. And we've done so much more than that, but just little things that we're implementing that make us that solution to work with. But yeah, I mean, the only other thing I'd add to that, Tom, is obviously with the launch of our recent Series 5, we've made quite a lot of ergonomical changes, things like that, to make it much more durable than ever before. So, for example, being able to replace different parts of the Series 5, which we've not had before, and being able to replace the battery, again, sustainability front, but also being efficient and the best solution for our customers. I think what the Series 5 will tell you is that over our 20 years experience in the market, we've listened and we're built for retail, and that's where we know we succeed and can help those across the world. So hopefully that answers the question.
I'm sure it does. And then we have another question here that says, do you really feel that headsets are a theft deterrent?
I do. And I tell you why I do, because I've heard it straight from the employee's mouth. You've got to think, especially in convenience, when you are alone and in an environment where there are only 1, 2, maybe 3 of you, it's a very vulnerable place. Anyone can come in. When we've seen that, we see it on the news. When you have a headset on, and the connection part and the safety part for the colleague is absolutely paramount here. That's what we care for. The deterrent side, yes. I think we all know when we're shopping in our local supermarket and you can see, the undercover security guard because of what they've got on their head. No one knows where that headset is connected to. But also, even if it's not connected to a security or surveillance team, you're connected to another colleague, so you're not alone. So immediately that person is aware that this person is not alone, this colleague is not alone. So absolutely, I do think they're a deterrent, and I've seen that firsthand myself whilst I've been here. So yeah,
fantastic. I think that covers off the Q&As that we've got in the chat box. If anybody from today's webinar wants to get in touch with myself or Olivia, our email addresses are on this slide here. Yeah, please feel free to reach out to us. There is events coming up where you can come along and meet myself and Olivia and ask us any questions, get in touch with the teams. We'll be doing a lot of demonstrations. The next show that we will be attending together is at Eurosis in Dusseldorf in a couple of weeks. And if that doesn't work, or if you're not based in, I know we have people here who are based in the region who will be attending. However, if that doesn't work, you can visit our website at www.vocovo.com/events and see where we're going to be exhibiting. Alternatively, please do reach out to myself and Liv, and we'd be more than happy to either set up a call or come and meet with yourselves, or you can come and see us. That'd be wonderful. Now that we can, it seems like such a long time ago. It'd be nice to do one of these face to face, right, Liv?
Absolutely.
So once again, from myself, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to my dulcet northern tones today. And yeah, so from me, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, ditto. Thanks, Tom. It's been a good webinar.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Thanks all.